Good Pod, where today we're talking The Good Wife, Season 4, Episode 13, The 7-Day Rule. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed, with me, the woman who, when we started this podcast, I made her agree. If ever this podcast disbands, I get half your pen collection.
Oh, yeah. Sure, fine. I would love to see that.
Marissa Garza.
Yeah, sorry. I was very into it.
You good?
I'm good. I'm good knowing
what does that mean? Does that mean like over my dead body you'll get half my pens? Or just like,
No.
yeah, I'll share my pens with you. Like which one is it?
Yeah, I'll share my, because then you'll know the joy that comes from fountain pens and nibs, and
Like,
you will
all the
understand.
nibs.
And then you will never say anything about nibs to me again, and you'll be like, I get it. I got it. I went to a nib master. I got my nibs grinded. You get it. You'll get it.
Is that a thing?
I mean, grinded is probably not the right word. It's probably ground instead of grinded. But yes, you can do that.
Okay, that's interesting. I love that you think it's all it takes is for me to have the right pen in my hand.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, wow, this really opens the doorway to stationery.
Life-changing. One day it's going to happen.
I guess so. I'll be like, when is the next stationery fest? When are we going? Like, just as soon as I get my hands on the right pen, it'll change my whole perspective.
Well, there's another one coming up in August of 2026 in New York. So watch out.
Are you going? Are you planning on going?
I'm planning on going.
Oh my
planning on going. Who knows what 2026 will be, but that is part of the plan.
Who knows if America, the world, society will still even be in existence in August of 2026.
We're like living in the movies now. We just don't know.
Yeah, it's not looking good, folks. It's not looking good.
Don't know.
Busy episode, Marissa. Very busy episode. A very this is one of those episodes where Alicia has a hand in all of the plots. She's running. It's one of those episodes where Alicia runs from office to office of like, oh, I gotta deal with this other storyline thing. I gotta deal with this other storyline thing. Let me go running back and forth to different storylines. It's a very Alicia heavy episode where she's involved in all the shenanigans going on.
Yes, yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, this is like setting up a lot of stuff that will come to fruition in the end of this or towards the end of the season. I mean, we're in 13, so they're working up to something. Yeah. But yeah, this is a very Alicia-y, but also firmy episode as well. And so I like this to me is like a textbook Good Wife structured episode where everything kind of ties into each other. You've got one piece playing off of another, and it all comes together in the end, sort of, kind of in this case. But
yeah, I mean, listen, everything interwove so seamlessly into each other. We're just going to do a whole rundown of the episode.
Yeah,
the different storylines. So we'll get into that. Before we get into all that, we want to remind you of some free and easy ways you can help this podcast. You can do that by reviewing, rating, subscribing, wherever it is you are watching and or listening to this podcast right now. It helps us get into the algorithm, which is brought up early in this episode, of people that would like this content. So they know that what we're doing. I feel like there's a lot of Good Wife fans out there that have no idea what we're doing. It's out there. Every time I post on Reddit, which I have to do again because I haven't done it in a minute. I post on Reddit. Everybody's like, oh my God, like I had no idea. And I see people on the Reddit that are doing their own rewatches and have no idea that there's this podcast companion that will be right there with them rewatching as they go along. So if you like, rate, subscribe, all the good stuff, then people that like this content will get us pushed to them, and they'll be like, oh my God, I found my new favorite podcast. If you want to talk to us about anything and everything, you can also email us at thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com. And hey, this not you, Marissa, not you. I'm talking to the watcher and or listener out there.
Oh, okay.
And it's you person watching, listening. This is only to you. Okay. I'm only saying this to you. It's a special thing we did in the behind the scenes that you are only getting this message. You are the only person getting this. You have an opportunity, okay, to be a partner in this podcast. Okay. Doesn't take much. It's real easy. You are such a special listener / watcher that you are getting this offer. Okay, we recognize how you recognize how great we are, and we want to include you in on the podcast.
I might also add, like, what you've done this year is extraordinary. Never been done before. Mind blowing.
Yeah, all listening you did to this
Yeah,
podcast.
exactly.
Oh my gosh, like, woo! You really put in the work. Also, if you so happen to be a brand new listener or watcher, I see it in you. I know this is your first time watching or listening, but I see it. You can be a top fan. You're gonna do great things here. So listen, we want to make you an offer. You can be a partner to this podcast if you so choose. Uh, it'll take a little, like, just like a little bit of money, like money, right? Such a small thing, just a small thing to be included in this great enterprise of the Good Pod. All you have to do is go to buymeacoffee.com/goodpod. And here's the best thing. Here's the best thing. You decide what you want. What you want your capital contribution to be. We aren't slave drivers. We're not going to dictate to you what your capital contribution is. You decide how much you want to put in, and you'll be a partner of this podcast. What that gets you is complicated. We're not going to get into it right now, but just trust us. You will really value being a name partner. Not a name partner. You'll be equity partner.
Yes,
It's
correct.
Your name's not going on the title. Okay, it's still Jason Reed and Marissa Garza on the door. Okay, but you'll be equity partner. You'll know that your contribution really went a long way in this enterprise of a podcast.
Yes. Yeah. And I would say, as David Lee said, there are perks to membership, but first you gotta be a member.
Exactly. You don't want to just be a plain old listener, do you? Like,
and what those perks are, you could have a say in as a member. Like,
sure. It's still to be decided.
We're trying to figure that out. I mean, just you can know you made a difference.
Does this have to do with funding Marissa's trip to Stationery
No,
Fest
it does not, Jason.
No,
it does not.
We are not. We are not trying to get some quick monies to.
Let me tell you
Marissa's
what it does fund.
Trip.
It does fund the StreamYard. It does fund the hosting of the podcast. Those are things that actually funds. Don't listen to Jason.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, totally. This has nothing to do with Marissa's new pen she wants to get. Nothing to do with her trip to Stationery Fest.
Oh my God.
Get that thought out of your head. Who even said that?
I'm taking away my Prenup.
Prenup. That's good. That is solid right there. But yeah, all kidding and joking aside, if you want to throw us some dollars, we would love it. We really greatly appreciate it. Again, that is buymeacoffee.com/goodpod if you want to throw any amount of money in there. Just have a little fun with you guys. All right, Marissa. Now that all of that is out of the way, let's get into the episode.
Oh, all right. This episode starts in a familiar scene with our characters in court, and we see Will in court with Neil Gross, good old Mr. Chumhum. And I couldn't tell, Jason, could you tell? I couldn't tell. I guess this was a new case, or was it talking about this? The old one. It was the flashback.
This
right?
is about the Margarita moments.
Yes, because it was about like the ranking.
Yeah, we don't. What Neil Gross says, we don't touch the algorithm. We don't do anything to it. And Will goes, "Oh, are you sure?" So I guess this is supposed to be a new kind of perspective on that scene because what the new little wrinkle that's added is that Neil is making eyes at someone in the gallery who is also mouthing. Well, she's like she's. I guess has prepared Neil because she's saying the exact same things that Neil is saying. She's mouthing the words as if she's in a 10th grade play, and all the people have memorized the whole script, so they're all mouthing each other's lines. So yeah, they make eyes at each other, and they know each other, and I guess they know each other in a very intimate sense.
Well, we come to find out because the next scene we see this woman by the name of Dina Lampert in the lobby of Lockhart Gardner. And she's brought in. They're waiting for quote unquote the lawyer, even though they're sitting in front of Alicia and Carrie Kalinda, I think, at this point. But Dina and her father are there because he wants a second opinion on her prenup. And everyone's like, oh, okay, cool. First of all, we find out a couple pieces of information. She's like, yeah, I know you. Neil hates you. Like this is and then David Lee walks in with all of his charm and all of his things, and he's like, okay, well, like, who are you getting married to, basically? Like, Why do you need this
David's like,
prenup?
why should we care? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, because her dad makes a big show of like, we want your help with this. Takes out 2 like thick notebooks, and David's like, okay, you say this like I should be impressed. Who was your paramour? Who's your soon to be husband?
Oh, it's none other than Neil Gross. And like
Dun, dun,
the
dun.
whole table's like, huh?
Say
Uh-huh.
what now? Because that's the name
Okay.
of the devil around here. And I mean, like, I wish, I don't know why they decided to put in that flashback to that moment, because I really feel like it would have gone over a lot better if we as an audience had been surprised about who this like betrothed was, who the husband was going to be. I would have been like, oh my god. But then once I hear the word prenup, I'm like, oh, she's getting married to Neil Gross, because I already saw
Yeah.
that flashback.
Yeah, I feel like, and also like her being his lawyer didn't really play into the overall storyline in general.
Right.
So it was like a scene that didn't necessarily need to be there, but
Yeah.
was there. And Kalinda is very actually involved in the questioning here, which is nice, which is good to see her getting more involved. She's like, where did your first opinion come from, Dina? I was like, oh, it came from my term or my firm, and they thought we should sign it. And David Lee is like, of course they did. Of course,
Mhm.
that's what they wanted. Don't worry. In the most David Lee way he could possibly say this, he said, that's what we're here to do. We're here to protect you.
That's right. Protect you and get the most money for us in the also that is going on here.
Yes.
So I mean, does it surprise me that Neil Gross decided to wed someone that works for him?
His last name is Gross.
Not even a little bit. So it makes a lot of sense that Neil is marrying one of the lawyers on his legal team. Like, okay, that tracks. That definitely tracks.
That makes sense. David, Will, and Alicia talk about it after the meeting, and David is like, look, like, this is a good opportunity, even though it's against Neil, which is like one of our biggest adversaries. I think it's a good idea because it could bring her business in here. Like, he's seeing her bringing in some sort of trust, like taking care of all of this stuff, and the firm needs money, so this is a good idea. And Alicia is basically saying like she's 28 and she's in love. It's kind of going to be a little hard to kind of like get this to be serious for her.
Everybody rolls their eyes at Alicia like, oh, Alicia in love, I'm sure. And we get a little progress bar update from Diane.
Yes.
And it's like, hey, just so everybody knows, we are halfway to what we need to get out of this bankruptcy mess that we're in. So we need this money. It's like, okay, well, good. Thank you for giving us a checkpoint, Diane. We're halfway there.
We don't necessarily need them. We need to show progress, like real progress, because they're going in to ask for an extension. That's another part, a 5-month extension. And David Lee says, well, the fiance of the 9th richest man in the world is progress. Asked me, why don't you two do your jobs? I'm doing mine. Why don't you do yours?
I do wonder if they have like one of those, those
like a fundraising thing.
Novelty thermometers are like, all right, guys, you just got $13 more million. Let's fill in that thermometer.
And then as like Alicia and David are leaving, Will and Diane ask Alicia to hang back. Okay, just to set the scene, in the last episode, we were notified through testimony by Carrie that he has been promoted to 4th year associate. And so I didn't really know what if this meeting was going to be like, hey, we made like whatever, but they are really like, go ahead, take a seat. Like it's one of those conversations. And then Diane goes to Will, do you want to? And Will's like, no, you do it. That's fine.
They're so full of themselves. Just like, she's going to just love us after this.
Yeah. And Diane sets this up and she's like, okay, like 20 years ago or whatever, it probably wasn't that much. Joseph Stern?
Jonas
Stern sat me down and prefaced, this before we had this conversation. Thank God I can't do his voice. So funny. So great. Oh, it's so great. Said, okay, after this conversation, I want you to go home, take your phone off the hook. What a what a landmark. Feel proud, like be proud of yourself, and then go get drunk or do something you've never done. And Alicia's like, okay.
She's confused. She's like, am I in trouble? Am I getting something good? Like, what's happening now?
And then they drop the bomb of, we would like you to become an equity partner. What you've done here in the last 4 years is extraordinary, and we want you to be part of the upper echelon
The
of our
echelon.
leader. Of our leadership.
When you're busting out the word echelon, that's some fancy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she's like super speechless and all this other stuff. And Will's like, well, are you happy? She's like, I'm happy. And Diane is like, okay, just like think about it, take some time and think about it. And at this point, Alicia's like, does anyone ever say no? I mean, like, this is the greatest thing that could ever happen. And Will's like, I don't know. I can't remember the last time I sat an associate down. And everyone's all happy and everyone's all smiles, which makes the scene even better once you know what happens for the rest of the episode.
And I loved just how elated Alicia was. Like, good job doing that, Marguerite. She did really good here, being like shocked and all these, like, oh my god. She's like, I thought this would take years. And they're like, yeah, we know, but you're so great. And I love how she gets up and like she hits her shin on the chair. She's like, ow. She's like, ouch. I was like, that's just like a fun little wrinkle in there. Like she's just so what is it, befuddled that she's like hits her shit and like, ow. I'm like, oh, this is great, but I'm ow, I just hit my thing on the thing. And just the Dan and Will are just like, oh that silly one. Oh, she's so great, right? She's great, right? She's awesome.
And I don't know if they like adjusted the wig between times, but her hair got bouncier. Her all of the stuff, like she was like super
definitely
happy.
A pep in her for sure.
Yes. Now it's time for the team to go to bankruptcy court, and Clark is on one side, Will and Diane are on the other, and Will and Diane are asking for a 5-month extension. Clark is saying another, and Will's saying a singular, just asking for a singular. And Clark goes, well, I really would love it if the creditor could tell their story, like advance their own argument. And Lewis Canning comes in doing the most Lewis Canning show we have seen in a very long time. He does the whole explaining of his condition. He says, oh my gosh, it's very rare that there's a room that's so hospitable to the handicapped and all of this other stuff. All of this stuff, by the way, note on language, it is now disabled, just if you're quoting all of this stuff. And he's like, well, here's the thing. Every day that Lockhart Gardner doesn't pay their debts back is a day that money doesn't go to neurological research that could help fund things. Like,
because his contention is that he will use every single dollar of this debt,
every single cent,
in furthering the research into his condition. And it's always like a waiting game of like, all right, is the judge gonna fall for this, or is
he's in it?
Like, not care. This judge, he's all in. He's like, oh, you have a condition, you say? Tell me more about it. Are you okay? Like, the judge definitely fell for this hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, and I think Will does a good job here picking up like, well, if you wait till we pay everything back, you're going to get more money, and so that will be more money for the people. And so why don't you, the judge, just give us some time to prove to you like that we can do this in 5 months?
Yeah.
So,
So like I love that we're picking up the third backup from like finding out that Lewis does now weirdly has bought the debt from the law firm. And so like he's of course doing his whole thing like, oh yeah, if I get this money, it's gonna go to a good cause. Like, and Will and Diane just look at him like, oh brother, here we go. So as he starts his shtick, it's like, oh my gosh.
And it's so hard because like, unfortunately, there are people in organizations like this in America. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like growing up, I was always like, give to charity, do all this stuff. Like, that's good in life. Like, it'll come back to you tenfold. Like that whole thing. I still do believe it. I just need to have some more discretion in what I don't need, because like he makes it sound so good, but we know Lewis Canning, and he's exploiting his own condition for his own gain.
And it's a good lesson in life because just because someone has condition, they are disabled
people are people too.
Disabled people can also be assholes. So It's like, don't just assume because someone is disabled, has condition, whatever you want to call it, is the nicest person in the world. Because look at Lewis Canning. Yes, he's a fictional character, but I'm sure there are real people in the world that are just as despicable as Lewis Canning is, and their disability condition does not automatically make them an angel, right?
Well, and disability is the largest marginalized group anyone can be a part of at any time. So
yeah,
you could be disabled tomorrow from something. Who knows? God forbid any of that happens to anyone listening, especially our equity partners. But I, people, that's a good point. People do think that like there's this like altruistic everything. It's like people are people, and it kind of, regardless of their ability, they're still going to be people.
And I like the King's kind of veering into that territory, because I don't think it's not a lot of characters that are like Lewis Canning, right?
No.
Like if you have someone like Lewis Canning, they're usually played for sympathy, played for some of the character or whatever. But the Kings went full throttle with Lewis Canning, like, no, this guy sucks. This guy's terrible.
Yeah. And also, just a qualifier, we are just watchers of television, not experts in disability justice or anything like that. But pay attention to that. Anyway, I just was thinking, I was like, I probably could have said more. But in this instance, we're going back to the campaign room, and we see Jordan is bringing up that Maddie was at this like benediction thing, and one of the trackers, I'm guessing, has footage of Maddie not bending her head during a prayer. Okay. Which Eli is like, well, whatever. But Jordan very astutely is like, people in Southern Illinois are going to care about this. And I want to just, again, speak about Illinois. I know you're probably sick and tired of it. But Chicago is the most populous part of the state of Illinois. But anywhere like basically south of I-80, if you're looking at a map of Illinois, is more akin to like a Indiana or a Missouri. There's pockets of little Chicagos, but it's very true that this would not play well in Southern Illinois.
Right.
And Alicia's like coming in, she's like, oh my God, is Peter here? It's so great.
And I'm sure that you were just thrilled that the first person Alicia wanted to tell about this news was Peter.
No, I wasn't actually.
Alicia goes bopping on. Yeah, Alicia goes bopping on in like, hey, where's Peter? I got some good news to tell him, and maybe get a victory F in while we're here. Is there a bathroom around?
For real.
So yeah, Peter is not here though, but
and I gotta tell you, I was like, oh my God, he's not gonna be in this episode. And on her way out, Eli asks Alicia, so like when you were friends with Maddie, did you ever talk about like religion or anything like that? Because he's telling Jordan like, hey, this isn't a big deal, but he does want to get the scoop on this before Jordan does. And Alicia's like, I'm not too comfortable with this. And then Eli's like, well, she's used stuff you told her. It's like, okay, well, she's an atheist.
Yeah. I wish that we would have gotten more insight into Maddie and Alicia's relationship before it all went sour, because they apparently have talked about a lot of stuff that like we had really no idea. Like we saw Alicia and Maddie out to drinks or brunch like maybe once or twice, but it feels like in the aftermath that it actually went a lot deeper than even we knew, because they're out here talking about religion, and Alicia has apparently spilled some details about Peter and his campaign to Maddie. So like I wish we could have gotten a little more context in the moment back, however many episodes ago when Maddie and Alicia were friends. I wish we could have gotten a little more in that regard, because apparently it was a lot of stuff that was spilled.
Yeah. Or it was spilled over text because we never saw it.
True.
Do you think they were like, do you believe in God?
And back then you had to use those you had to use your numbers.
T9.
Yeah.
T9
it. to actually type out text, unless I guess the little
she had the BlackBerry.
BlackBerry had that full keyboard. But either way, yeah, like those things were small. You had to be like a lot of text, a lot of time texting back in those days. But yeah, I wish we could have got a little more insight into like how close they were, because it feels like now we find out like, oh, they were real close, but I didn't feel that back then.
Agreed. Agreed. Alicia comes back from Peter's office or from the campaign office and finds David Lee in her office. And she's just like coming back with a bunch of shopping bags. She's like, I just did some shopping. David Lee's like, great. I just wanted to let you know that Dina's in and we're going to start some negotiations. And also, like, congratulations on making partner. Did they talk to you at all about the capital contribution? Because it's $600,000. And you know what? We have options. You can do it. You can pay half up front and then get the rest through bonuses. But really, it's gonna pay off. Just congratulations. So do you have any questions? And I have to say, I am a little surprised that this was not brought up in the first conversation and they left it to David Lee to say this.
I'm not surprised at all. This is a classic like upper management move.
I am the worst manager, or I would be like, let me lay everything out.
No, because that's class. Like the upper people are like, we're going to give you the good news. We're going to leave it to other people to give you the bad news about what comes with this. Because Will and Diane are the top people. They can decide who gets told what and when. They're like, hey, guess what? You're going to be a partner. And also David had something he wanted to say to you too. We're just going to leave the room. Like, it's kind of what this was. So, like, we're going to leave it to our underlings to give the bad news. But we as the upper management get the reward of giving the good news. Yes. So that's a classic like hierarchy move to be like, leave the bad news to someone else. Alicia, I love Alicia's like reaction. She's flabbergasted. Her jaw's on the floor. Like, $600,000.
Yeah, the captions were 6.100.1000 dollars.
$600,000.
Like, yeah, but like in 3 bonus cycles, you'll be done and it's fine. And
it'll be fine.
Don't worry about it. And over across the hall in Will's office, Kalinda is pressuring Will because Kalinda was promised, I want to say like 2 seasons ago, but she was promised a promotion and a 5% increase. And so you hear Will say, just give us 1 more week. So I think she's here like threatening to be out of here.
Because bitch, where's my money? Run me my check.
Yes. And while she's in there, Neil barges in and he's like, this is never going to work. You're never going to get any of my business. And Will's like, listen, I'm litigation, not family law. I didn't talk to your fiance to come in here at all. So get the hell out of my office.
It's like, oh, Will. It's like, don't catch Alicia seeing you be all alpha. She'll be right back up on you, my guy.
Oh my God. Yes.
Like, get the hell out of my office. Like, oh, okay, Will is not playing today.
Yes. And he says to Kalinda, you got your raise. Keep track of that. And I'm assuming he meant Neil, but also keep track of your money, obviously. So negotiations are going to start in this prenup, the negotiation thing. And we are introduced to the lawyer on the other side, Rochelle, who I recognize from Gossip Girl. She is Blair Wardolph's mom in Gossip Girl, played by Margaret Collin. Also in Chicago Med, Chicago Hope, Pretty in Pink, and Independence Day. She's been around.
She's been around for sure.
We should also mention who Dina's dad is.
Yes. Larry Pine, who is like a big. Did you see him in the Succession? Because I did not.
I can't remember where he was.
Succession, House of Cards. Basically, if you need like a serious looking white guy, older white guy, this is your dude. Definitely I know that guy from somewhere. And this is where you know him from. Succession, House of Cards, like 1,000 other things over his storied career. But yeah, that's who's playing Dina's dad. Dina has been in some stuff, but nothing that really hit either of our like fancy to be like, we gotta tell the good pod fam who this person is.
I think I recognize her most from here. Because she'll be back. Spoilers. Okay, so we're starting negotiations, and the first thing we have to figure out is jurisdiction. Like, where is this prenup going to come out of? Basically, like what court is going to take over it? And there's 2 places on the table. We've got Texas because there's a house or a ranch there, and then California because that's where they will mostly be living. And Alicia is pushing for California, and Rochelle calls her out on it. And she's like, well, why don't you tell the real reason why you want California? And California is known for like some of the best, I would say, divorce court divorce law type things. And one of them is when you have a prenup, you have to basically wait 7 days. You have to have the agreement finished, wait 7 days before you can sign it and before it's enforceable. Basically, because people have taken money and run, done different things. So the wedding here between Neil and Dina is in 9 days. So they have 48 hours to sort all of this out.
Yeah, our people want to really put a ticking clock on these prenup negotiations to put pressure on this to get it done, so that there's not a lot of back and forth, not a lot of negotiations. Get it done in 2 days, or else you have a problem. You have to push back your wedding or something. And Neil's people are like, no. We know what you're doing. Dina and Neil, meanwhile, are in these negotiations like lovey-dovey, like, oh, we little gum drop. It's just all nonsense. We can do this little stupid little prenup thing because your daddy said we had to, but it's all gonna be fine. My little snoopy poopy doopy whoopoos. So Dina's like, it'll be fine. We don't need no 7-day rule.
Yeah, she's like very uncomfortable. She's like, let's just do Texas.
Which is like, why are y'all here in Chicago? Like,
yeah.
You're in Chicago, right? Like, what are you talking about?
Let's just do Texas. And like, David Lee sees this as a loss. He's like, we cannot concede any more ground here. Like, we're going to have to do something. And Kalinda's like, okay, do you want some dirt? He goes, yeah, but not enough to like have them not get married. Like, we still need them to get married.
Yeah, let's it's very like it's a very thin line of like, let's not do too much to get them to break up, because we still want this prenup to go through. We want this money, because we it's not about like breaking them up. It's about like finding just enough to get him to cave.
Yes. And during this meeting, Alicia gets a call from her accountant person, someone who knows about her money. And she's like, yes, I know it's a lot of money, but maybe I could borrow against my mortgage. And they're like, oh yeah, you're going to need a co-signer because your mortgage is with your ex-husband, your husband, your whatever he is, Mr. Florrick, that guy.
Your situationship, your baby daddy, whatever we're calling him nowadays. I thought Alicia's like, co-signer? Who's the co-signer? She's like, oh, yeah, that guy, my husband. I was like, you didn't know who your co-signer was on your mortgage? Alicia, are you okay? I know you got some big news. Are you okay? Are you all right?
Back in bankruptcy court, we have Lyman Norquist, the CEO of LOC Pharmaceuticals, on the stand. And you may be asking yourself, like, what does this guy have to do with it? But apparently he funded the trust that Canning used to purchase the debt. And
which makes sense, because I was like, how does Lewis Canning have that much money? I know he's probably rich, but to buy what was it, $60 million of debt?
Yeah,
it's like, I don't think he has that much money. So this makes a lot of sense.
Well, especially because Canning is like all buddy with the pharmaceutical companies. Yes. And this guy's on the stand basically saying, yeah, I kind of did that because Lockhart Gardner always sues us. And it's really annoying and I don't like it. And out in the hallway after this, Clark and Canning have a little bit of a chat. And Clark's like not sitting well with everything that's happening in court and kind of brings it up. And he's like, I'm not here to destroy the firm. Like, I'm here for the success of the firm. And Kenning's like, yeah, so am I. Yeah, right. Like, I'm not here to do that either. Like, you're right. But hey, are you taking the bar this weekend? And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh, Illinois bar, so hard. What do you plan to do after you take the bar? It's like, practice the law. I'm like, we should talk. We should talk about some stuff.
Yeah, which at this point I was like, wait. I feel like we have lost the plot of like, who started this whole thing? Like, I feel like Clark was running this. And now all of a sudden Canning is running this. I was like,
well, he does say that. He's like, when did we become a we?
Yeah. I was like, how did you take this over from Clark? Because I felt like he was the guy. Because I mean, I guess if I think about what this isn't really like a two sides thing. It's more of this is a request from Lockhart Gardner to get an extension. So I guess anyone can argue against that.
Correct.
I was like, because at first I was thinking like, I feel like this is a Clark-led thing, but like, no, they're just, I guess, people that have an argument against Lockhart Gardner. I was like, fine. Canning is now the figurehead of this side of things. But yeah, I mean, he kind of like, of course he can't come right out and be like, hey, like, I need some like inside info.
Empty desk.
Yeah, you can have a job. but he kind of intimates it. It kind of like implies it. And Clark being Clark is gonna Clark. But yeah, I love Clark's like, when did we become a we? Which I'm like Clark, I feel like I guess Clark doesn't know who he's getting in bed with, because if you know anything about canning, you should have known that you were getting
Yeah,
in bed with
no, I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows at all. It's time for Alicia to go tell Peter, blah 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 blah. So they do. Fine. She's all like, this is one for the history books. 4 years. Oh my gosh. How much is it gonna be? She's like $600,000. Like, and she says, like, I'll need you to help me take a loan out, basically, on the mortgage. He's like, I'll loan it to you. Like, don't worry about it.
He's like, what is it? 600K? Nothing. I got you on that. I was like, Peter, you got $600,000 just laying around?
Yeah. As she walks out of the bus, she runs into Jordan. Jordan's like, hey, so like God, like you believe in God? What's going on with that? And she's like, what? And he's like, well, we're going after Maddie and her religious beliefs, so I'm pretty sure she's going to bring up yours. What are they? And Alicia's doing her, like, what she did to Eli at the beginning of just, like, giggling and laughing it off.
Just walks away. Who she, I guess, rightly kind of treats as the gum on her shoe. Like earlier when she walked to the campaign office, Jordan's like, hey, I'm George. She's like, uh-huh.
And
yeah, cool. Eli, my friend. I feel like she already knows who Jordan is, and she's like staunchly pro Eli. So she's like, we don't F with you. Like you're the ops. So I don't know you. And so again, like, and Jordan's not doing much to ingratiate himself here, because he really just, as Alicia, like as you said, leaves the bus. He's just like a sniveling little rat, just like, hey Alicia, what's your beliefs in God? It's like, what?
He like I know it's cold, especially in Chicago, but even as he comes up, he's like got his coat, he's like bundled up in it. He's like, hey, what do you believe in God?
Yeah, almost seems like, hey, you want to buy some drugs? It's like,
yeah, it was a little weird. Negotiation round 2, we have basically Carrie telling Dina that the shares of Chumham that she receives are going to be worthless if you divorce, because what Neil can do is basically just keep upping the shares. So each share is worth pennies as opposed to being worth whatever.
I tried to follow this because they were like, the shares that you're going to get are not shares that are tied to the value of the company. They're just, I guess, regular old shares. So the
like
more
voting power.
Yeah.
Shares.
So the more that he the more shares that he creates, the cheaper and cheaper your shares will be worth. So he could flood the company with shares, and then you wouldn't get anything.
Correct.
Like, okay, cool. I was kind of following.
It's just like, I don't care. I'm not going to let money guide me. You know, David, put a stop to this. David's like, oh, we will not be putting a stop to this. And it was interesting because the way that this went out is like, we're not going to put a stop to this. And then Kalinda said, Dina said, money is not going to guide her, so we got to find something other than money. And then Carrie said something, I forget what it was, and then he's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'm like, David Lee, you know this, like, this is like 100. But it was interesting how he actually shared some of the discovery, but at the end of it he did leave saying to Carrie, like, watch and learn.
Yeah, Carrie here in this episode is really it's the bad side of Carrie. Is like, he's falling under the spell of David Lee, and David Lee's like machinations. So like, Carrie, no, don't go toward the dark, stay in the light.
Yes. Back at bankruptcy court, we have Diane on the stand. Basically here, Canning is trying to prove that Lockhart Gardner is like settling up the wazoo just to help their balance of the debt, like to pay back on things. And Diane sees the strategy and she is pissed.
She is mad. Because I mean, Canning does throw out some interesting stats. He's like, so before the bankruptcy, you guys were settling cases about 30%. But now, since the bankruptcy, you guys are settling everything. Which I'm like, does that track really from what we've seen? Like, I guess so. And it's like, oh yeah, that don't look good, because it really kind of gives the impression of like, yeah. Whatever, just give us money. Like, we'll take whatever you're offering us. Whatever, just give
Well,
us
and
money.
also like they're not arguing in the interest of the client, they're arguing in the
Right,
interest of themselves. And
right.
so Will sees this and cautions to Diane, saying like, I think we have some like exposure here
Mhm.
because of what happened with the West Nile case. And Diane's like, well, who would they call? Who would they call?
Yeah.
None other than Alicia
That's
Florrick.
Saint Alicia. And I liked that they called back to an actual case that we had an episode
Yeah.
based on, because it could have been like, oh, remember Schifrin Marks?
Oh
Remember
my
what happened in
god.
that case?
Nobody remembers.
Nobody
Nobody
remembers.
remembers.
It's not a thing that actually happened. But yeah, I like that they were like called back to a case we actually saw being settled, because they're right. They did like drop their settlement to, like, avoid court, because that was the one where they threatened the old guy to be like, hey, we're gonna tell people about your
Yep.
diagnosis if you keep this shit up. Which
Yep.
is like, yeah, so it's like, yeah, they did kind of like rush into that settlement a little bit. Like, they were like so relieved, like, whoo, actually being able to put money in the coffers. Great job, guys.
Yes. If it wasn't Canning that bought the debt, they probably would have gotten away with it. Well, not gotten away with, but it would have been not as complicated.
Yeah.
Negotiation round 3 for our prenup over here. Okay. So David is basically saying, we give up. We give up on financial issues. We're done. This is it. And Carrie is like, actually though, like, just like one more thing. Like,
well, I mean, they're like, no, like, you guys, you don't want to give up any more money. Like, we get it. That's cool. Like, we're not gonna. Our client does not want to fight about money. All
so
good.
we
You
won't
guys
fight
keep your
about
money.
money.
You guys keep your money. There's just some other like little things that we gotta talk about. That's not money related. It's not money related, guys. It's just like some other little things we gotta sort through.
Yes. And this reminds me of how detailed prenups can be, because it's like a date night, at least 4 date nights a month or something like that. You want him home 4 nights a week. How many times there is quote unquote sexual maintenance. And also like what religion the kids are going to be
Yeah,
going to be.
and important to note here that Dina basically just told him, all right, shut it down. We're not going to do this crap anymore. Just get this done. She did not say anything about any of these
No, she
issues.
didn't say anything at all. And this
Our
is
people are the ones bringing this up, like, and hey, Dina just had some things she wanted to like make sure was happening. Like, that is just an out and out lie that they just said right there.
yeah, and that is David Lee's play here. It's like, because he left the meeting earlier saying like their lawyers are going to be the one that pressure her, not us. So we're going to toss the ball over to that. And so then they meet with Dina, and Carrie has to be like, hey, so because you gave up on the money thing, the other side is really pushing for that the children are raised Jewish, and that like the sexual maintenance is like at least twice a week. But Neil could ask for more if he really wants to. And like, we could push back, or you could hope for the best. But I really, really think you should push back. Dina's like, oh, we're gonna push back. Push back hard.
This is really like genius manipulation on our people's parts, because they're like, we're going to introduce an issue that maybe wasn't an issue, but we're going to make it an issue.
Correct.
And we're going to make Dina fight for this. She don't want to fight for it. We're going to make her see that she should fight some more by suggesting that Neil is asking for is demanding things. So it's like, all right, you thought you and Neil were all good. Now he has demands of you, like of how often you have sex, the religion of your kids. And by the way, she's like, we never talked about religion. I was like, first of all, that's
how do you get married without that?
Yeah, but listen, the show 90 Day Fiance is built on these bad types of decisions, so I'm not that surprised. But yeah, she's like, oh, so he wants to play like that, huh? So it's like, oh, now we're gonna fight now. Like, I was like, that's just a chef's kiss, genius. And it has to be shown that Alicia is kind of eye rolling at a lot of this, because we still need to keep kind of Saint Alicia that we know that she is not in favor of these type of shenanigans, but she's gonna go along with it.
She's gonna go along with it. And after they meet with Dina, and Dina says, "Okay, push back hard," Alicia, Carrie, and David are outside of the meeting room, and David walks up to Carrie and is like, "Great job in there. You're gonna make a great equity partner." Oh, the what? The what?
What? Like, what? Hold on. Alicia's like, wait a minute. You said what now? You said, huh? Who? Who's partner? Not me? But him too? What?
Yeah.
Like, what? I was like, oh. I'm like, ooh, this is good. The plot thickens.
Yes. And Diane calls Alicia in because she got peanut. Alicia got subpoenaed. And
she got peanut?
Subpoenaed.
Maybe your mic cut out, but I heard peanut. I was like, are we shortening subpoenas to peanuts? Interesting choice. She got peanut.
Well, now you did it. They're like, we just want to make sure we're all on the same page about this West Nile case and everything when you're on there. And Alicia, because she has just heard this conversation between David and Carrie, very short with her answers. She's like, sure. Yeah. Fine.
You can tell she's perturbed. And this was great by Will and Diane, because Diane's like, well, the downturn in the economy it really had our clients really having low cash flow. So that's the reason we had to settle more, because the clients really needed more money at the time in their pockets. So we really had to settle the more cases. That's why we settled more cases than usual. I was like, bruh, are you really trying to spin this like this? And again, this is more of like, we just want to make sure that we're on the same page with this story that we're telling you, so that you repeat this in bankruptcy court. We all good? We all good, babe? And Alicia's like, yeah, sure, right.
Fine, bye.
And Will and Diane look at each other like,
thumbs up.
What's that all about? Like, is she gonna F us in bankruptcy court? What is that? What is that? Like, they are cautious. They're like, what's happening?
Yes. And on her way back to her office, Eli just pops in. So, what's your belief in God? She's like, okay, no, it's personal. Like, yeah, for Jordan, it's personal, but for us, right? Like, we're
here, right? We're here. Yeah. Like, you wouldn't do that to me, though. You're gonna talk to me about it because I'm Eli. It's Alicia and Eli, right? Like, it's Alicia, and we have a whole thing. It's us. I've been here since season halfway through season 1. Like, you know me. We know each other. We're good. Jordan's a rat. And me and you, we're here with it. Right?
And he really does follow her into her office and really tried to basically convince her that she believes in God.
He tried to gaslight her into being a Christian.
Okay, so would you say you're a seeker? And if God came and did a miracle right here, would you say that you believe in God? I'm just I guess so. I guess that's what it would be. What do you want, Eli? What do you want from me? He goes I want you to be Saint Alicia, basically, all of this stuff. And Alicia's mind right now is just filled with so many things. She's like, okay, so Will and Diane negotiated in good faith, and I really am the only one that deserved to be partner, and also God exists.
I mean, this is kind of all right, I'm having to kind of bend in all of these situations, so fine, I guess I'll do it here too, Eli. Sure, I'll say whatever it is, I'm a seeker that you want me to say, or whatever, because Eli is no one likes an atheist,
which you could not say. Yeah, later in this episode, they say that only 15% of Illinoisans, I don't know. I must be too in it to see it. But
maybe. And I think Alicia, it's interesting that they made her stand on business. She's like, no, I don't believe in God. She goes, my daughter and my husband.
What about Zach? What about Zach though?
But it's she's like, I don't know what Zach believes. You don't get him that's weird that you don't know what your son believes. I'm like, all right, whatever.
I know what he believes in. He believes in technology and capitalism.
I believe in code. I believe in the Matrix. The Matrix is my religion. Numbers and ones and zeros.
It's very religious undertone-y, but yeah.
Very true. And she's like, yeah, my daughter, my husband, they believe in God. Me, not so much. I was like, oh, they actually kind of made her. They actually made her an atheist. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we were kind of questioning. We were kind of questioning. Yeah, I know when Peter found religion, I think we were kind of got the idea that's not really Alicia's cup of tea. But I was like, is she agnostic? Is she,
Right.
what is she? And here is just kind of like spelled out like, no, she does not.
Well, and she may have gone into this like timeline of this episode being agnostic, but because of everything that's happened, she may not have.
Well, I mean,
the
like
spirit.
you mean like at the
So to
beginning
say.
of the whole show, she might have been like believed in something and like, all right,
Yeah.
this whole thing. Yeah, I don't believe in nothing.
Yeah. Before he leaves, Eli goes, "Hey, so what do you think about Jordan?" And she's like, he's awkward, and Eli's like, "That would be like a really great thing to bring up to Peter." And Alicia's like, "Get out of here!" Like, one scripted line per day, please. Like, okay, fine. So we are about to go into round 4 of prenup negotiations, and this one, like, everyone is just arguing. It's like robble. Neil is like super upset. He's like, "When did you start worrying about money? It's just contract language, baby. Like, don't you worry." Anytime, like, I swear to God, if anyone you ever hear those words, run. It's just contract language, baby. And Neil's like, "Okay, that's fine. We're done." And then Dina says, "You never loved me anyway."
Well, and here's the thing, right? He goes, it's just contract stuff. None of this matters. He's like, but the thing is, like, if I give you what you want here,
right? That's right.
In the future, other contracts are going to want even more. She's like, oh, so you mean the next time you have to do a prenup because you're going to divorce me? Is that what you're saying? And that's what gets the whole thing of like, F it. We're done then. We're all over. So they're pretty much breaking up at this point, which causes David to be like, oh, whoa. we pushed this a little too far now. So David and Carrie are now panicking.
Carrie, go, run. Carrie, go, run. And then Carrie and David find her and have a conversation with her. And she's basically like, I don't care about the money, but he cares about the money. And it's all about what he cares about and all this stuff. And David, okay, David's face in this is like so puppy eyes at this moment. And then Carrie is like,
bro, David is like, listen, I was gonna be real like gross, but I'm not gonna do that. David is like was watching this scene and he's like, I don't know what's going on in his like in his pants, but he's like, oh yeah, get her,
well,
Carrie, get her.
Yeah, because Carrie's like, here's the thing, just go to him. Like go to him, not like go find him, but like in the romantic sense of go to him. Just go to him and spend some time with him. It's just happening so fast, and like if you spend time, he won't worry about the money. Go without any lawyers. You have to pull each other past it. Let us worry about the money. You don't worry about the money. And like you were saying, like David Lee is just like, oh my God.
Oh God.
I found my predecessor. My legacy is safe with this one. It was funny. I mean, like, I forget the actor's name, but David Lee will always be David Lee because he played
Zach
David
Grenier,
Lee.
baby.
Yeah.
Zach Grenier. Who, I don't know what Zach Grenier is up to, but I feel like really we have not gotten enough Zach Grenier in our lives because this David Lee stuff was such a good role. It's so funny always. Like it's never not hit with David Lee. So I don't know why Zach Grenier does not have more of a profile.
I know.
In TV. It's like he's so good at his job. And he's like, because he's like, listen. Let's have dinner. No lawyers. You guys figure it out. You guys love each other. Like he's trying to pull this thing back from the brink. Like, whoa. We listen, this is our bad. We went too far. We did too much. You guys get back. You crazy kids, get back together. Figure it out. It's all good. It's all right. And of course, they was like, yes, Carrie, do it. Yes. Like what's the Palpatine and like Star Wars? Yes, excellent. Or Mr. Burns, whoever whatever.
Or what's his name from Inspector Gadget?
Oh, Claw. Yeah.
Claw, yeah.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
That was my first cell phone ring. Anywho, back at Bankruptcy Court, we've got Alicia on the stand. Okay. And Canning asks about the West Nile case and the settlement. It was like, anything wonky there? She's like, no. Like, we did best by our client. Was it wasn't driven by the need to raise capital. And then Canning asks, are you aware of like any schemes that are going on? And Will's like, I take offense to the word schemes. And the judge is like, okay, get over it. And Canning then goes like, is it true that you were offered partnership as a fourth year? She's like, yeah. Did you know that 5 other fourth year associates were offered partnership? And you can just see in Alicia's face, she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, everything just dawns on her at this moment because, at this point, she knows about Carrie. And I think probably in her mind, she can rationalize, all right, like me and Carrie, we were kind of a package deal. Like, yeah, I can see Carrie being like, Carrie's done a good job. Carrie could also be, but then to hear like, no, boo, there's like 3 other people besides you and Carrie that were offered this same thing. And like, oh, like it just like Dawn's like, oh, this was all a racket. This is all as Lewis Canning will call it, a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
This is all just a ploy to get money out of us.
And her answer here is, if the only scheme is a lawyer, and she's like looking straight at Diane and Will, and she's saying, if the only scheme is a lawyer logging thousands of billable hours and doing everything they can for the firm, then, you can call that a scheme. That's what it is. She gets off the stand. Will is like, let me offer you the seat behind the table here. And she just walks on by. She walks out. She is not happy.
That was such a elegant storm out. Like, this is the most elegant storm out I've ever seen. Because like, oh, it was so delicious. Because like, was like, hey babe, yeah, come over, sit over here, sit next to us. She's like, F all y'all, I'm out. Like she's like turns her head like she flips that wonderfully coiffed hair. She's like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not gonna sit next to you bastards. Because like this is a betrayal.
Yes.
It really is. Because it's like, oh, I'm just money to you. Like, y'all made this seem like it was like such an accomplishment. It was like a me thing. But this is a get rich quick scheme to just get money out of it.
Well, and also the fact that Will sat next to her and said, I don't know the last time I sat down an associate to talk about, like, you know what I mean?
Was like, Alicia was the first one.
I'm sure that would be
okay.
I'm sure.
And you don't even think about Will, like you Will are gonna do this to me?
Exactly.
You've had your thingy inside me. Like you're gonna do that to me?
She's a peanut.
Yeah, you peanut me, bro. And you're gonna do this to me, Alicia, and just sit there and like be smug and like be smiling in my face like this? Really, bro? Really?
Yeah. Well, and then Diane had given her this like mentorship conversation most recently, and she was like finally in a place where she felt like she was respected by the firm. She didn't have to prove herself as much. She was being asked all of this stuff, so like it did make sense. Like it was really early, but I think she could make a case for herself why this was true in her head, and then to find out that it was all part of this funding for the firm scheme. And also, like, guys, that's a dumb idea, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. But with this information and with having this day, she then goes to a campaign event and
she's real riled up.
She's yeah, Eli's there. She's like, hey Eli, just tell me when you need me to believe in God. Like I'll be there. Like just tell me that.
Alicia is also probably pre-gamed a little bit.
For sure.
She's a little bit in the bag already.
For sure. She runs into Jordan and she's like, do you believe in God? And he's like, no, I believe in rainbows and the smiles of children or something like that, which is super creepy.
Way to make it weird, Jordan. Way to make it weird.
Yeah. And then we get the reunion that has been many episodes in the making. We see Alicia and Maddie, and it's kind of like, hi. And then Alicia, again, she has no Fs. All of the Fs have left for the day. And she goes to Maddie, do you have any new friends? And Maddie goes, I didn't end our friendship. And if you would just let go of this victimhood that you're holding on to.
Oh, I said, damn. Everybody's just trading haymakers, just like, oh. And Alicia's about to go in. She's about to like tell Maddie all about herself. And of course,
And good old Peter shows up, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" She's like, "Oh, it's great, darling. If we could just find a bathroom." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
It's like, oh my god. It's like, oh no, like Alicia, there are no more F's left to give.
No,
The only F you try to give is to Peter in the bathroom right now. That's the only F there is. I was like, damn, Alicia is at the brink right now.
Yes, luckily she was saved by a reporter who came in. Well, I mean,
which
like, not luckily
think,
for her, but luckily for the
I'm
conversation.
sure is the plant that Eli has
Yes.
put into this thing, because you notice as the reporter's talking to Eli, is like, oh, perfect, now's the time. Let's do this. Let's
go.
Yeah.
And she asks Peter, like, how do you feel about sharing the spotlight with Maddie at this campaign event? And of course, he gives like this very politician's answer of like, oh, this isn't a campaign event. I'm here to celebrate the leadership organization or whatever. And then she asks Maddie, like, how do you feel about the reaction of people saying like you were disrespectful because you didn't bow your hair in prayer? And Maddie's like pretty straight up. She has been like this entire time, like, this is who I am. We'll let the voters decide. I'm not going to try to be someone that I'm not. And then the reporter asks Peter, this I couldn't, like, I had to this was such an ugh thing. Peter is like, well, I respect Maddie's opinion, but it's different. Like, in jail, belief means something so big. I found God in jail. And the reporter goes, and what about your wife? And he goes, luckily, this is not a full point, like in the conversation point for Peter. Like, after using jail and God, he redeems himself back up to 0 by saying my wife can speak for herself. And Alicia.
And here's the thing: he says this because I'm sure Eli has prepped him. Be like,
yes, for sure.
Alicia, good to go. You just hand it off to her when the question comes, and Alicia's got it from there.
Yes. And Alicia goes, she leans in. I'm an atheist. Wink to Eli. Wink to Eli.
You can also tell that Peter's caught off guard too. He's like, oh, I was not told you were going to say that. Like, I was told you were going to say something else.
Yeah. Okay then. Kind of did you say bathroom? Maybe we should just head that way. Back at the office, Kalinda and Carrie are going through the SEC files of Chubham, and of course, Carrie and his love for Clark and his mentorship for Clark tells Kalinda, check the footnotes. They always hide stuff in the footnotes.
Oh.
And while they are doing this investigation, Carrie brings up to Kalinda, like, hey, congrats. Like, you got a partnership. He's like, yeah, they just needed money. But, if I can get the money together, I'll do it. Like, I'm not going to say no because of the opportunity or whatever. But they do find that there's $112,000 in the footnotes that have been going somewhere.
It's always money in the banana stand. I do like the fact that Kalinda's like, oh, poor little Carrie got offered partnership. Oh, boo-hoo. You got offered a way into a, multi-million-dollar opportunity, and you had to put in $600,000. But oh, poor little Carrie, he's gonna make more and more money.
Well, and I mean, if I were Kalinda, I'd be even more upset learning if there were 5 people that were offered partnership and she can't even get her freaking promotion.
I mean, listen, Kalinda, where do you think that money's coming from that you are demanding from us?
Like, sure,
we ain't got it, so we're gonna get it from your friends. That's how we're gonna get your money. So you just shut up. But Kalinda's like, oh, boo hoo, poor Carrie. But she wouldn't say it to Alicia.
Oh no.
Yeah, she'd be like, oh, that's terrible. You need to fight against this, Alicia. Why is it different? Why is it different for Carrie, Kalinda?
Because she still loves him.
Still loves Alicia more like it.
Yeah. So Carrie is like, okay, I'm gonna go tell David about this $112,000. On his way out, he finds Clark just standing at the elevator, watching the doors close, watching them open, watching them close.
Which makes no sense for an elevator.
Watching them.
Why it would just be open and closing like that? Like, okay, sure.
I don't know. Carrie's like, hey, how's it going, Clark? Clark's like, I don't like mess. It's like, what mess? It's like, oh, this canning thing. This canning thing's a big mess. And Carrie goes, well, aren't you, you're going to take the bar. Good luck on the bar. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, but I don't know if I like the law anymore. It's not very precise. And Carrie, again, in all of his wisdom, I don't know where it all came from, but this episode, he really showed it. I was like, yeah, no, it can be. It just depends on where you practice it. And this gives Clark an idea. He heads back to tell Diane and Will that he has been subpoenaed. In the meantime, he also did, Carrie also did apologize to Clark before he left. And Clark was like, don't apologize. You told the truth. This very precise black and whitey type of answer.
CNC forever.
Oh my God. For real.
CNC forever, my dude. They do their CNC handshake.
Well, it's like, we'll always
Friends
have the
again?
footnotes.
Yeah, we'll always have the footnotes. So, friends again. Friends again. Clark tells one day, guys, I was peanut.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So negotiation round 4 starts. Okay. Deanna and Neil are like even more lovey-dovey than it was almost like that one episode of Seinfeld that was like schmoopy. Okay, schmoopy. Like schmoopy. And at this point, David Lee asks Deanna and her father to leave the room. And they're like, don't worry, it's gonna be okay.
This can be nothing bad, right? This can only mean good things. Why else would he ask us to leave the room? Like, if I was, I'd be like, no. Like, what have you got to say? You can say it in front of me because this is obviously something weird that's going on.
Exactly. But it's revealed that the $112,000 is part of an LLC that actually only has one person whose name is, I forget, but it is the baby.
It's the beneficiary or whatever.
Yes. That means that like if anything happens, that person's going to get all the money, and that the person's last name is the same last name as the person that Neil had an affair with or slept with at some sort of thing. So basically, this is Neil's baby, and David Lee is saying, if you don't want her to, again, the same play that was played in the
West Nile case.
West Nile case is like, if you don't want her to know, just let's just get on with it. She's like, yours is so low, even for you, David Lee. He's like, no, not really.
No, it's not. I've done a way worse shit than this. This is nothing.
Neil Garza is like, give them what they want. Like, I don't want, and runs back to Dina and gives her a hug and kisses her and all that stuff. So,
yeah, this was the smoking gun we needed to be like, we got you over a barrel, my G. Like, what you gonna do?
Well, and they also now have that information, right? So not only does it affect this case, but now they have that information maybe about other things.
I don't know if we can go that far to be like, listen, bro, I think maybe we're your new law firm.
Exactly.
How do you feel about that, Neil?
Exactly.
I don't know if they could go that far. I think then the FBI might have to get involved at that point.
Well, we'll see. Back in bankruptcy court, Clark is on the stand, and Canning says, "You had the best view of the shenanigans that were happening there." And Clark's like, "Okay." And Canning asks, like, "Did you agree with all these partnerships that were going on?" He's like, "No, I didn't agree with that. I didn't think it was a sound decision." And Canning basically equates it to a pyramid scheme, and Clark agrees. He's like, it may be a really shrewd way of looking at it, but it is kind of what it is. And then Canning goes, "Oh my God, isn't that kind of quid pro quo extraordinary? Like, isn't that just like out of everywhere?" Canning's like, or Clark is like, "No, you offered me a job the other day in exchange for information on further cases." And Kenny's like, "Oh, well, yeah."
He's like, we don't need to talk about all that. Like, that's too much information, Clark. We don't need to hear about all that stuff. All right, you can just keep doing the things I'm asking you. Just leave it at that. All right, cool. You judge, you didn't hear that, right? Oh boy.
But that is what the judge needed to hear in order to grant the extension. So again, in classic Lockhart Gardner style, I don't understand how money works. Okay, it just because they just get an extension for debt, for paying back debt, and they throw a party.
Yes, which you wouldn't
maybe
think
the champagne was already bought for. Maybe it's already some cause. I don't know.
Maybe it's already in the wine cellar. That's like in the basement of Lockhart Gardner. We don't know. We're not sure. But these people will throw a party for any and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
And the way it feels like because you're going to talk about it, but it feels like an ending.
Oh yeah, because Clark is first there's a celebration, but then there's this whole like, good luck with the bar, Clark, and he's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I don't know. I'll miss you, but maybe I won't miss you. And I'm just
I
like,
was like, wait, so you're quitting? You're leaving? You're quitting? What?
what?
Are we like so? Are we getting a new trustee? Like,
I don't know. Or
what's
is
happening?
Canning the trustee, like you were saying, because he owns the debt now? So maybe like Clark
Yeah,
has done his job, but he made it clear, like in the mediation, that his job was still ongoing.
yeah.
So
So
I don't know.
what's why is Clark leaving? It almost felt as if they were like, oh crap, guys, we only have
Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane for these many episodes. Like, oh, we forgot. Oh,
Yeah.
damn. We'll just say he's leaving to go practice law. Okay, good, done.
Bye.
He's over. Good. And also in this moment, David Lee was like, "Hey, great news! We got the extension. Also, we're getting Dina's Midwest book of business." I was like, "What book of business? She's still
A
just a
lawyer.
lawyer. Like, what business? What book of business
Like
do we
her
have?"
book, like her Midwest client. I don't know why or how or what. I have no idea
I
what
was like,
that
"Huh?
means, but
What you mean?" Because she is a lawyer herself. So I'm like, what business are you getting? I was very confused about that. But this is like a very like, hey, the good guys win again. We did it through extortion and through ill-gotten gains, but we're the good guys. We won. I was like,
a win's a win. A
it's
win's a
like
win.
it's like I guess guys, whatever.
Well, and at this point, like this is where I think, I guess, guys, whatever. Like this entire episode really does kind of put Lockhart Gardner on some shaky ground. Just in general. Canning stops by Alicia's office and basically says, "Hey, you know what I love about Monopoly? Get out of jail free card. Here's your get out of jail free card," and it's his business card. And
Well,
with
I love the Canning starts in. He's like, you know what I love about Monopoly? At least like, all right, get to the point.
I
I'm
don't need this
busy.
anymore.
Yeah, I mean, because the party's going on, and Alicia is like in her office, quote unquote, working.
Yeah.
Also kind of quote unquote pouting, because or whatever. And Ken's like, you know what the best part of Monopoly is? She's like, all right, get to the end, get to the end. And like gives her card, like this is your get out of jail free card. And it's a Lewis Canning business card. I'm like, okay, again, but I mean, Lewis Canning has been offering her a job since like the first time he met her, so this is
Yes.
nothing new.
Yes. And just as Canning leaves, Diane comes in.
Mm.
And Diane has some words to say. She basically says, "Your absence is sending a message that you are not in on this, partner thing. You're not invested like everybody else. I was made partner when Stern was accused of sexual assault. Like, when the opportunity comes, you take it no matter how it comes. And no one is here to care that you're pouting. No one's going to care about your emotions, because you're going to find a smile and you're going to go in there and you're going to thank the partners, because if you don't, what is given can easily be taken away."
Ooh, I was like, damn, those
I
fighting
have
words.
so much, like, I hate that. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. Did I mention that I hate it so much? I hate it so much because it is the reality of corporate America, just in general,
Mhm.
and also specifically for women. Like, it's some sort of political thing, which I think is really shown very well in the next scene, where Alicia does find her smile. She does walk into the thing after Diane has to look at the door a couple of times. We don't know if she's coming in, but then Alicia goes into full on politician's wife mode. She's just
Yeah.
like, "Thank you so much for this opportunity. I won't disappoint you." Like every single time, she's in the politics of a law firm now, as opposed to just doing law. And that's when like people should be able to get opportunities that don't benefit other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I do think it shows the complexity of Diane's character,
Yes.
who is such a champion for women's rights. She's
Yes.
she's a super liberal person, but she is not, above the politics of it all when it comes to this type of environment and women in this type of environment.
Well, and I think this is something that, like, we as a society have been like, this is what the whole DEI thing was about, is like giving more opportunities to people that didn't involve making themselves look good or some other thing, because it happens not just to women but to all marginalized communities, in terms of when they're given opportunities and how they're kind of used and exploited in those ways to make it look good. Like, here's a promotion, here's a step up, here's a seat at the table, but there's
And
some sort
also,
of other benefit.
yeah, and also to be like, be thankful for this opportunity.
Oh my
Like,
God,
I
yeah.
didn't work hard for this opportunity. Like, I don't deserve this opportunity. Now I have to do all these other things to glad hand as if I don't deserve to be here. Can't act whatever way I want to act because I worked and deserve to be here. I shouldn't have to glad hand and act like I'm happy when I'm not. But Alicia does it anyway. Do we think this is kind of like I'll smile now, but
for sure.
I got some things cooking.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially because I doubt this conversation happened, but we did not see a like, oh my God, Alicia, we're so sorry. Like, we know that was a shitty, excuse my language, shitty way for you to find out about everything else. Like, I'm so sorry that this was how we did it, but I don't want that to take away anything from the work that you've done. You really deserve it. We would, we want to make sure, what can we do to make this right? Like, there was none of that conversation. The very next, like, the conversation for Alicia went from, hey, are we good on the testimony, to shut up and smile, basically. Yeah. And I think it is, when the point you bring up about Diane's character, she is the longest standing character in all of these series. Like, and so it's very interesting to kind of watch how her character deals with situations as they come up. And right now she's definitely stuck in the boomer corporate mentality of success and feeling like you have to take anything and be thankful for whatever you get, as opposed to recognizing, like you said, that you earned something and be able to celebrate that or not in whatever way you want.
Yeah, because it's not as if this is a feel-good conversation she had with Alicia, and Alicia's like, you know what? She's right. It
was like a threat. It was like a threat.
And so it feels like Alicia is like a hostage, where she has to act as if she's like glad that she got this opportunity, when everyone knows, probably most people in that room know, this was just a get rich quick scheme. And what does it say about Alicia that she's doing this? That in these people's minds, where she's going like, thank you so much for the opportunity, are those people thinking you're only here because you needed money? Like, so it really cheapens the accomplishment.
Yeah. And it also is like, she has already proven what she will do for this firm. She doesn't need to walk around and shake hands to tell people, like, I will be okay with this. I will make you feel okay with what you did to me, basically. And but also, like, how many freaking partners do they need? That was my whole thing. I was like, you already have like a conference room full of partners.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, we need new money. These people have already given their capital contribution. We need new capital contributions. And why isn't Carrie here? Also glad hand.
Yeah. And where the frick is Howard?
True. Like, and who are these other 3 fourth years that got offered this partnership? I can't wait if we see anything about them as well in the future.
And also the conversation between her and Will, of like, she very formally went up to Will, and I cannot believe that Will wasn't just like, you talk about it, or like, are you good? Like, there was nothing there.
Well, it's as if Will was like, good girl, like, you submitted like you were supposed to, good job. It was like, ew, gross.
Yeah,
there was no like understanding in that interaction. It was just very much of like a good girl, you did what you're supposed to. So I was like, ew, this is such a gross look for everybody. But it does show. And I think when you were like, yeah, Will and Diane didn't even apologize, I don't even think Will and Diane think they did anything wrong.
Right, I know. Like, and like, that is just the mentality of the world, unfortunately. Like, I have a lot to say about it because of my current employment situation. It's just like how are we supposed to survive in, hopefully a lot has changed, but not a lot has changed at the same, like, this type of stuff is still happening all of the time.
Yeah, I think Diane and Will in their perspective are like, who cares about the reason? Like, we offered you a partner. Isn't that like
Well, yeah, because like
good?
envision, like if this were a case and there was an opportunity and you didn't take the opportunity, you would be seen as not a good lawyer, right? Like you'd be like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you missed a shot. Like you there was a shot and you didn't take it. And I think for Alicia, she like waited 13 years to come back to work. She really had to prove herself there because of everything that was going on with Peter and then the competition with her and Carrie and then like everything. And so she doesn't have she thought she did this on her own and she wants to get that recognition and achievement for her own. It would be like it's kind of like here's a participation trophy. Congratulations, you are a lawyer, as opposed to you actually worked your butt
Yeah.
off.
And I think Alicia, who has spent most of this series running from the shadow of Peter,
Yeah.
feels like she probably feels like she did this on her own, where and then it
Yeah.
feels like no, you're just a way to get more money. Like you're
Well,
not.
and she's been dealing with that the only reason you're here is because you're the state's attorney's wife.
Mhm.
And so it really meant something for her when she thought she was the only one that
Yep.
was being asked.
Yeah, I just think Will and Diane are probably really justifying this to themselves of like, I mean, but she
I
got a
mean,
partner out
well,
of it. Like, what's this?
from Diane's perspective, we know, hey, I became a lawyer because, or I
Yeah.
became a partner because my boss was accused of sexual harassment. And then, like, to know, okay, that was the reason. And then the Jonas Stern lit a cigar and
Mhm.
told Diane to go home and get drunk and do, like, you know what I mean? Like,
He's probably go buy yourself some pretty dresses or something, you know.
it's just in 2025, it's just an icky
Yeah,
feeling.
it just in the fact that right before this Diane talk, Alicia got this like card from Canning to be like,
Mm-hmm.
this is your get out of jail free card. I also do wonder if Canning's like, this is your get out of jail free card because all y'all going to jail because y'all like doing some shady stuff around here. So if you want to escape the shadiness into probably some other shadiness, but we can cover up the shadiness better than these people. Here's my card. So I just wonder if Alicia's like, I'll bide my time. I'll act as if
Well,
I'm going along with this.
when
But I
Diane
wonder if
asked her, like, what was that about? She's like, it was personal.
yeah,
She
and
didn't
hides the
say.
card.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. This puts Alicia in an interesting mind frame, I think, because if she takes this partnership, it's going to be forever tainted. Like, what does this mean for her moving forward? So it puts us in a very interesting footing going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like I said at the beginning, the whole firm is kind of on shaky ground because they're making all these fasted hard moves to save the firm with getting the debt back, but at what cost
Yeah.
and for what reasons?
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting journey moving forward for the rest of the season. But that was our episode today, season 4, episode 13, The Good Wife. Really good episode. Really, really like
Yes.
this episode. It's a great episode. Marissa, do you want to tell the good folks where they can find you online? What you're gabbing about? What you're talking about?
I'm Gib gabbing about wasn't that a thing? Anyway, Gib gabbing about the show, obviously, both on YouTube and on regular podcast feeds. You can find links to that and all of the podcasts that I'm on at itsmemarissag.com. You can also find links to Whirlwind Podcast Previous Little Liars, where I am watching Previous Little Liars 1 or Pretty Little Liars 1 previously on at a time. And then I'm also exploring space in the final frontier with my sister over on the USS Sisterhood as we go through Star Trek The Next Generation. Jason, what's up with love, reality, TV, and more in your world?
Yeah, you can find me talking about love and mess and all that good stuff over on the Perfect Match podcast. We are currently on Patreon only right now, as we don't have Married at First Sight current season going right now. We're talking about season 10, which is a classic season of Married at First Sight over on the Perfect Match Patreon. So go to patreon.com/a Perfect Match podcast to find me and Asia Welch talking about the show Married at First Sight. You can also catch me. Recently, I was also on Tane, who has been on this podcast, her podcast, Altar Call. We did kind of like a rundown of this season of the challenge, which also recently ended. So, I always have fun talking to Tane about all different kinds of nonsense. As this episode comes out, we are a few days away from the Christmas holiday.
Yes.
If that is something you celebrate, we wish you Merry Christmas. If you don't, we wish you Happy Holidays. Whatever it is you are into or not into, we support you.
Happy Festivus, happy
Yeah.
Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy all of the things. 2025 was a year. And so I hope everyone finds some light and some joy at the end of it to help carry us into the next one.
Yeah, for sure. So whatever it is you're celebrating, however it is you're celebrating, we hope you have a great time and that this season finds you in a good place. And with all things going on in the world, I hope you are looking forward to a new year, new beginnings, if that's something you believe in. So from us to you, happy holidays. And until next time, stay good.